Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Good morning, my students. This is yet another segment of the lesson. Today, we are going to look at bases and alkalis. It's still under the topic acid, base, and salt. This is lesson number 5. I think this class is for SS1. Quickly, bases are chemicals which can neutralize acids and produce salt and water. I repeat again, bases are chemicals which can neutralize acid and produces salt and water. Or rather, you can say a base is a compound which will neutralize acid and will turn red litmus paper to blue. Bases are usually metal oxides or metal hydroxide. I repeat again, bases are usually metal oxides or metal hydroxide. And examples are copper oxide. You can see on the board we have copper oxide and the formula is CuO. We have magnesium hydroxide. You can see Mg in bracket OH2. We have potassium hydroxide. We have sodium hydroxide. The formula is there, NaOH. These are examples of bases. Now, an alkali is any substance that produces hydroxyl ion in water. Any substances that produces hydroxyl ion in water. Example, we have ammonium hydroxide, we have calcium hydroxide, we have sodium hydroxide, even potassium hydroxide. Now, you may see some example of alkalis, you may see some example of alkalis in the bases, and you may see some example of bases in the alkalis. And you wonder why. The differences in bases, the major differences in bases and alkalis is that the bases, they are insoluble in water. They are what? They are insoluble the insoluble copper oxide, iron 3 hydroxide, they are insoluble in water and they are bases. While in the case of alkalis, it's not so. All examples of alkalis, they are soluble in water, and some of the bases are not are insoluble in water. Example I just cited, we have copper oxide. I say we have iron 3 hydroxide. All these are example of insoluble bases. So the differences between bases and alkalis strictly is that some of the bases are insoluble in water, while the alkalis, most of the compounds, or all of the compounds in alkalis, they are soluble in water. So that brings us to a strong and a weak alkalis. A strong and a weak alkalis. A strong alkalis is one which, when dissolved in water, will ionize completely, forming metallic positive ions and hydroxide ions. Example, you can see this is an alkali. It ionizes to produces Na plus aqueous and OH minus, which is called hydroxyl ion. This is sodium hydroxide is also a base. It's also a base because this is soluble in water. That is why it is being called alkalis. So here we have sodium hydroxide, ionizes to produce sodium ion and hydroxyl ion. In the same way, we have potassium hydroxide, still ionizes to produce potassium ion and OH ion. So these are examples of a strong alkalis. Why are they strong alkalis? Because you can see they ionize completely. Am I communicating? They ionize completely. So the complete ionization, shows that they are, strong alkalis. While a weak alkalis is one which will only ionize partially or incompletely when dissolved in water, producing hydroxide ions. An example, we have ammonium hydroxide. This compound, I repeat, is called ammonium hydroxide. So this ammonium hydroxide, partially ionized to produce ammonium ion and OH radical, which is hydroxyl ion. In the same way, we have calcium hydroxide. As you can see, calcium hydroxide have ionizes to produce calcium ion and OH radical. In our last segment of the topic, we have is physical properties of bases and alkalis. Bases, usually they have bitter taste. I repeat, 1, bases have bitter taste. 2, solution of alkalis will turn red litmus paper to blue. Remember, I said when I was explaining an acid, I said the solution of an acid will always turn blue litmus paper to red. But in the case of bases and alkalis, the red litmus paper will turn, to blue. When you dip, red litmus paper in the solution of an alkalis with base, it always turns, from red to blue. So thirdly, solution of alkalis have soapy film. That is why, even a soap is a soap that we use in our various rooms is a clear example of a base or alkalis. Am I communicating? So these are the physical properties of alkalis. We have a lot of them. Please, you should check and get other examples. So now, before I go, let me give you this as assignment. One, state 2 chemical properties of a base. 2, list 3 uses of a base and alkalis. Thank you very much. When next we meet, we are going to discuss what we call neutralization reaction. Thank you very much. God bless you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. We are back again for another class. We are going to continue, of course, from where we stop, and the subject is chemistry, the topic is still acid-base and salt, and this is lesson number 4, and this class is for SS1. In the last video, we discussed on examples, or rather how acid have been categorized, and we have seen the definition of acid, and we have seen some reactions that has to do with acid. And today we are going to look at what we call basicity of an acid, and we are going to look at the strength of acid. To start with, basicity of an acid is the number of replaceable hydrogen ion in one molecule of the acid. I repeat, basicity of an acid is the number of replaceable hydrogen ion in one molecule of the acid. So now, how can you identify the basicity of an acid? Of course, we are going to look at, we have a table here, and the table shows the acid, the ionization, how the acid ionized, and the number of basicity it produces. Here we have the HCl. I believe you have been hearing HCl ever since I started this lesson, and this is called hydrochloric acid. When this compound ionizes, it produces one hydrogen ion and a negative radical. So this one hydrogen ion is the basicity, or is the basicity of this very acid. In the same vein, HNO3, which is trioxonitrate 5 acid, is ionized to produce H+. When you see H+, even if I didn't write 1 here, it indicates that the number of replaceable hydrogen ion here is 1. So that is why we have the number of basicity here to be 1. Here we have H2SO4, which is tetraoxosulfate 6 acid. And this tetraoxosulfate 6 acid ionized to produce 2 replaceable hydrogen ion and a negative radical. And this 2 indicates the basicity of this compound. And here we have H3PO4. This is phosphate acid. This is called tetraoxophosphate 5 acid. And this acid ionizes to produce 3H+, which is 3, it has produced 3 replaceable hydrogen ion with a negative radical. And the number of replaceable hydrogen ion here is what? Is 3. So the number of basicity in this acid is 3. This is called ethanoic acid. This ethanoic acid is a weak acid. It's a weak acid. So this acid, ionizes to produce H+ and a negative radical. And as you can see, the replaceable hydrogen ion in this compound is not part of the hydrogens that are in this CH3, that is dimethyl. So here, the number of the hydrogen ion that is being replaced is the last hydrogen ion here. So this shows that the basicity of this acid is 1. And I told you this ethanoic acid is a very, very weak acid. And secondly, I said we are going to look at the strength of an acid. Acid, in terms of strength, acid is being classified into strong and weak acids. I repeat again, in terms of strength, acid is being classified into strong and a weak acid. So now, a strong acid is one which, when dissolved in water, will ionize completely, producing hydrogen ions and a negative radical. I repeat, a strong acid is one which dissolves in water, which when dissolved in water ionizes completely, producing hydrogen ion and a negative radical. Mind you, when I said complete ionization, is the one that indicates a single arrow, like this. This is a single arrow. Whenever you see this in a reaction, that shows that if it is a reaction that has to do with acid, that shows that that acid is a strong acid. And this ion represent complete ionization. So examples of the strong acid, they are the common three mineral or inorganic acid that I have mentioned earlier in my previous video, which I said they are the HCl, HNO3, and H2SO4. I said these are the three strongest acids we have, and I said they are called mineral or inorganic acids. Now, a weak acid is one which, when dissolved in water, will ionize partially or incompletely, producing hydrogen ion and a negative radical. I repeat again, a weak acid is one which, when dissolved in water, will ionize partially or incompletely, producing hydrogen ion and a negative radical. Whenever you see a double arrow, a double halfway arrow, that is a forward and backward, but both arrows in halfway, this indicates incomplete or partial ionization. That is, incomplete or partial ionization is represented by a double arrow. A double arrow like this. Whenever you see in a reaction, you see a double arrow halfway, forward and backward, that indicates that the reaction is reversible. This indicates that the reaction is a reversible reaction, and the acid involved in such reaction is a weak acid. Now, examples of weak acid. All organic acids are weak acids. Remember, I made mention of examples of organic acid when I said we have the metanoic acid, we have the ethanoic acid, we have the citric, acid. When I said we have even phosphoric acid and so forth and so forth. All those organic acids, they are what? They are weak acid. And we have some of the weak mineral acids. Some of the mineral acid, we have, here we have CH3COOH. This is called ethanoic acid. And you can see here we have a double arrow, and it produces H plus, aqueous, and CH3COO minus a negative radical there. So this is an example of what we call a weak acid. Before I round up, I have an assignment here. The assignment number 1: state 3 uses of acid. Or rather, let me make it 5. Let me make it 5. We have a lot of uses of acid, so let me make it 5. And 2, state 3 chemical properties of acid. Please make sure you do the assignment. It's very, very important. Thank you very much. God bless you.